Hello, greetings. So the last one, audio, video, I uploaded. Uh, you may think I'm talking with an accent and many other factors. You might not want to take me seriously because as it is for the Shias, right? Imam Hussein's grand sacrifice, unparalleled. The proof there in Karbala, in the battle, exhausted itself. And even then, Yazid's army would not succumb, give up. So how would you believe me? And when I talk with an accent, how would you believe me? So those taking me seriously will take me seriously even with an accent. Why am I much grateful to them? Because they're seeing the truth. That's why. If the truth was hidden, covered up with in such a conniving, cunning, treacherous way that it took me many, many years to discover. And even now I cannot tell you in words, as I am shocked. So this is a very shocking video. Let me warn you again, I've put that in my previous video on the title, warning, shocking contents, disclosure, exposition, whatever you may call it, that I've found out, figured, worked out through the ayats showing you here. Just had my food slightly anyhow, but came back thinking that I must say this with a straight accent now, or even if I use that accent, please take me seriously, because it is so difficult to talk in a straight accent and take this thing serious in myself, see it, and so light-hearted I use an accent. It just automatically happens by the help of some divine entity, power, source. Okay? So I'm going to go slow again. Maybe that one didn't sink in well until this one perhaps helps you in a better way. You see, we have this, I was maybe talking to myself or my Shia self. Only the Shias could understand and pick up my broken language, English sentences. And one point pops up, another point, I lose my main point, or then I come back to it later. So, out of order. But now who I can show you is really out of order, not in words and expressions. So maybe you would think that what kind of a thing is this? This is no miracle of God being sent down in a book in such high order, Arabic, poetically written and communicated to us, given in the heart of Prophet Muhammad by the trusted spirit, verse in the Quran. So, not a hafiz, you are not even a hafiz. You haven't memorized the whole Quran, so you are not a hafiz. You don't even remember the verses, numbers, the surahs, names in which these verses are. But please, for now, just this much. I cannot show you what a miracle I am. That I survived, like we say, the enemy being after Muhammad and his progeny, how they have survived, even Rasulullah and his progeny, even after Karbala, the tragedy of Karbala, how his son, the eldest son, Ali ibn al-Hussein, Imam Sajjad, title al-Sajjad, Zain al-Abidin, given to him also the adornment of sujood, Zain al-Abidin, no, ibadat, worship to, of God, worship to God. Zainal, the jewelry, the adoration, the zenith of God's worship, adorned. So these expansive, great titles given to them. Qazim al-Qazim, like Imam Musa Qazim, or Imam Musa ibn al-Jafar, son of Jafar, the sixth Imam, the seventh Imam. Imam Musa Qazim, the controller, the overcomer of anger. So when you have anger, you take his name and you appeal to him. You appeal to God for his sake, how he conquered anger. Because anger is haram in Islam, forbidden. It is not healthy for the person. Buddha will also tell you, and Buddha's followers will also tell you. The fire you ignite inside yourself burns your own self. So the fire of anger, very fiery person, we say, like that, it singes you, it, burns you up inside. How this came about, how the titles given to them, we take it as a miracle, God's eloquence, Imam Ali. And so I'm here in broken pieces talking to you, uploading videos, audios, stuttering, sometimes getting stuck, pausing, like that, out of order again, right? And who really is out of order? We will see. And as you Shia stand firm in your beliefs, my marja, my awqaf, they can, as I have been publishing these videos, they can execute me standing firmly on their principles and deen, religion, and the laws of this Sharia, the Shia, from the Imams. So like Hazrat Musa, I was born, God saved me, Devi saved me now I feel. My mother's Devi, my mother's aunt's Devi, Zahra auntie. She had a Devi. I've spoken about this story on Facebook live stream of mine. Seemingly, apparently, I survived through the dua given to my parents by Allama Rashid Torabi, the one and only genius, orator, Zakir of his time and for the times to come. Haven't seen someone like him in Indo-Pakistan. And then Talib Johari. But for me it was Allama Rashid Torabi. And for many remained. Unparalleled, right, in his oratory, from where he used to come from and where he used to go, and then complete his whole majlis, give us his whole points, and what memory he had, a genius in memory also. Okay, so you see what has come to me now will be very, very extremely outrageously shocking. Tables have turned as I was doing my research. So with the help of Devi and truth, that many, many Shias think that this is the one and only truth, Shia Islam. I survived and I was in this household. I was born in a Shia household. I became a Shia myself. I did research against Sunni Shia. I chose Shia Islam. I read Jiddu Krishnamurti. I chose the best, Imam Hussein. I said, yet witness, when the Observer came out. And in Moji Baba's invitation videos on social media, Facebook and YouTube, I used to get very the same, oh, the witness. Oh, the witness in the Quran ayats and Prophet Muhammad Quran ayat. God tells us, or someone who claims to be God tells us that he has been sent down as a witness for God, and what a witness he should be, and he is. So he doesn't speak out of his own desire, but what God conveys to him, and he knows the whole Quran, the whole revelation. He is fully 100% God conscious. Every knowledge that comes to him is from God, and he only conveys and lives that, nothing of his own self. So when he stumbles and makes a mistake, I don't know what the Shia say about that. So when I was doing, I will come back to that in another video, or maybe in this later on, perhaps, I don't know. I'm not sure, maybe. So the point, another came up in what is it? Now it has flown over my cuckoo's nest. So it was very difficult, like how to start this. Like, for example, as we do Sunni Shia, when I was doing my research, I concentrated on the hadiths that were from the Sunnis, right? And through the books I had read from Tejani, then I was guided because he was someone from the Sunni sect school of thought, and he discovered, and how he discovered it, he's written in his book. You can read that book. Then I was guided by Tejani, and then how he did his research and found out that Shia Islam is the true Islam. So I went through all the hadiths he had given in the reference section in his books, online, and some I bought even. I found them in Karachi, and so I checked, and everything was making sense to me until recently about Shia Islam. So this verse changing from thoroughly purify you with a thorough purification, thoroughly. So I'm searching for it. Thoroughly purify you. I think it's in Surah Ahzab, because Surah Ahzab, I've been concentrating more on the adopted son issue, and then I found another ayat and another like that, but I've forgotten now, because the Surah Nur ayats I've also I get confused. Thoroughly purify you with a thorough purification. I'll explain to you a little bit without, talking to myself as a Shia and thinking I'm only communicating to Sunnis and Shias. Maybe non-Muslims will come here. You're most welcome. But this was very important that I briefly touch over these matters, and now explaining to those who perhaps missing some points still, but hopefully to the non-Muslims also. Thoroughly purify you with a thorough purification. Like what the Shia say, I have to also do this research back, because you see, they say the Arabic words change, and now the plural becomes more males than females in this verse, Quran verse. So let's check, right? Going slowly, checking here. You may want to embrace yourselves. Surely Allah wills only to put away indeed from you abomination, all impure things, of the home, population of the home. Okay, this myislam.org. Maybe take another verse. But it is in Surah Ahzab and it is verse 33. So chapter 33 and verse 33. So if you look at it, Shias have a different interpretation of this Quran and Sunnis have a different interpretation of this Quran ayat. In Surah Ahzab verse 33, Sunnis say that the wives of the Prophet are mentioned, and so they are included in this verse as Allah and abide. It talks about the wives of the Prophet and abide in your houses and do not display yourselves as was the display of the former times of ignorance. But let me just see that if it's the previous verse has women and then wives and believing men's women, or but anyhow, we'll just now take what the Sunnis and Shia say on what they have researched and come to, and then I can check on that whether wives and what women of Prophet Muhammad, whether the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad is included thoroughly. Well, we were told that they are thoroughly purified from what they were when they were light before. Even this is the Gnostic knowledge from the Shia Gnosis, right? Metaphysical. Before you were born, before anyone was born, when Adam was in that state of a soul state. And so let's see now. I'll just read the ayat here. And abide in your houses, and do not display yourselves, as was the display of the former times of ignorance. And establish prayer, and give zakah, and obey Allah and His Messenger. And obey Allah and His Messenger. Allah intends only to remove from you the impurity of sin, in brackets of sin, close brackets. O people of the Prophet's household. O people, Prophets is, his household. Prophet is written in brackets, close bracket, household. And to purify you with extensive purification. So when I read this verse on face value, without knowing Sunni Shia, I thought that this was for the Sunni Shia references, that this was for the wives of the Prophet and whoever I mentioned before the verse, before this verse, and the household of the Prophet, O people of the household. So I thought that, now God wishes to, thoroughly purify you with a thorough purification. But if you don't wish to, if I just take it at face value, so why the wives of the Prophet, they could have been included in this, but were not. But Shias go on to explain in detail about it. That no, because the Arabic way it is written, feminine only comes once, singular. And male, it's male plural in the household. O you, Ahlul Bayt, and purify you. See? So, intends only to remove from you the purity of sin, O people of the household. This, right? So the Shia say that, Shia say that the Prophet's male, the way it is written, singular, plural, it has more male than, it's just one singular female, meaning they put Bibi Fatima Zahra in there. So, and if you take the Sunni side, it fails, because the Arabic way here written, referring to the household of the Prophet, they say the way it is written, no, they don't see the Shia way that it is written, the Sunnis. And they say that no, it refers to, it includes, although if we even include the five, unanimously agree, Sunni Shias, that all five are included, Ali, Fatima, Hassan, Hussein, then all four are included, right? So Sunnis say the wives are also included in this. But then the Shias explain why the wives are not included in this. Because, there in Surah Tahrim and in the hadiths of the Umayyah, Aisha gave such problems. And Shias also explain why Amir al-Mu'mineen, if you take like this title, right, of Ummul-Mu'mineen and Amir al-Mu'mineen, Shias say only to Imam Ali, because Amir al-Mu'mineen cannot be, he has to be tested, he has to be from there, from the, purity of the pure, up at that time where Adam was in that soul state. Remember, Vikishia, I read that out, what they say. So even thereafter, after Imam Ali, Imams don't have this title of Amir al-Mu'mineen. So but the title here to the wives of the Prophet, Allah has given them, Ummul Mu'mineen. But the Shia say that they have not been from there purified because they annoyed the Prophet. Some wives were jealous of each other. Surah Tahrim, we are told they annoyed. And there are also Umayyad hadiths, Sunni hadiths, which the Sunnis believe in. That's why Sunni reference. They say that yes, the wives did annoy him, but I don't know what the Sunnis, how they take it. I mean, right now, like they have excuses they make excuses for the wives of the Prophet, the Sunnis. I take them as excuses, not good reason, right? Proper reason. Because they annoyed the Prophet Muhammad. They annoyed Prophet Muhammad. How can we there's no excuse for annoying. And then you can say sorry, but in Surah Tahrim, it shows that a warning was given, and in Surah Ahzab also, if you do an open calumny to the wives of the Prophet, you see, there's a warning, then double punishment will be given to you, right? So, double calumny, but they say that no such warning was given to Fatima Zahra, the daughter of the Prophet, since she was thoroughly purified with a thorough purification. Not that Allah wishes to thoroughly purify you and remove from you in this world, but in the world before also, before Adam, their light was. Praising Allah, Ahmad, Rasulullah, the Messenger of Allah. And so this verse, I don't know how they take it, that we wish to, Allah intends only to remove from, so this verse could go back to that light area and come here. And this only is for the 4. So, and obey. See, because here then it says, remove from you the impurity. No, before it says, establish prayer. So where this verse turns, Surah Ahzab verse 33, is here. The household, okay? So I'm just disorderly a little bit, sorry, please bear with me. So his messenger, Allah intends only, obey Allah and his messenger. Allah intends only to remove from you the impurity of sin, O people. If you use that, if you take this verse, you will find out non-Shias, Sunnis, non-Muslims, how there was a website I went to and it explained when I was in Karachi how this feminine thing, plural, turns to singular feminine, meaning only Fatima Zahra. So the Shia site will explain to you very easy. Even if you don't know Arabic, you can get it well explained by the Shia site. I had checked long time ago. Now, so you see this. So I looked at this. I looked at both sides, Sunni, Shia, and I decided no, Shias are right about this. Singular, plural, as much as I could get the Arabic, I stuck to Shia, right? So this is Surah Ahzab, Ayat 33. Now we go to, now I look at this and, the Sunnis say that, no, the wives are involved in this. And this is the contention which remains unresolved between them both until one day perhaps they will unanimously agree. But until then, I'm just referring to that old contention between Sunni and Shias. So I referred to that in my previous video. But I asked the Shias, like I can go on explaining about the Sunni thing and it will keep going on. No, I'm with the Shias, but not with the Sunnis. That's it. So that goes on. But here, what my case is that Ummul Momineen, God, and there are the mistakes and all that I have mentioned before about with the Shias, but I have received no answer. Not much of a good reasoning. Like we say that Sunni Shias don't follow good reasoning, and even the Quran ayats, they don't know Arabic properly in the sense. And they are right about that. The Shias, I agree with the Shias that the Sunnis. So then what I did was I said, okay, Ummul Momineen. Now what I realized is what the Sunnis say about the mother of the faithful, which is a Quran ayat. This title is given by God in Surah Ahzab. This you will find in Surah Ahzab verse. So the Prophet's wives are, I'm not Prophet's wives are what title given to them by God? Ummul Momineen. The mother of the faithful believers. Ummul Momineen. Just checking, sorry, it's like this here with me, right? So, oops, I forgot to put here Quran verse, quickly trying to get that so I can go on. Quran verse. Again we come to, surely the hypocrites who concocted a lie, Aisha committing adultery. Oh no, Ummul Momineen. When did the epithet of Ummul Momineen come into being? See? So the Shias will explain to you, Islam quest, even the Sunnis will explain to you, Aisha is not the mother of believers. This must be coming from the Shia. See, since there is no contradiction in the Holy Quran, it is necessary to examine the verse that declares the wives as Ummul Momineen. And if this doesn't come from the Shias, then now it comes from the Sunnis who have realized that Aisha cannot be called the Ummul Momineen. Because Surah Tahrim I've pointed out many a times. So which Sirat Online, this is the website Sirat Online. Aisha is not the mother of believers. Why? They will explain at many wives, but reply. Let us examine Aisha's. Aisha denies being the mother of all believing women. One day one woman addressed Aisha as Ummul Momineen. Upon this Aisha became enraged and declared, I am not your mother, but only of your men. celebrated Sunni scholar Muhyiddin Ibn Arabi, popular on Ibn Arabi asserts. So even this, why did Allah declare Aisha as al Mu'mineen? So the hadith is mixed up. Sunnis will give their reasons. Surah Ahzab, see verse 53. Shias will say Aisha is not included, although she was a wife of Prophet Muhammad. So what is the criteria from the Quran? You can check the Shia. I've already read about this. If I'm maybe missing something, because the Quran generally says, and it is right for you that you should, it is for you that you, nor is it right for you that you should annoy Allah's messenger. So Aisha falls short. You see, that I understand. Aisha falls short of being, but she is the Mu'mineen. Because the general verse says in the Quran, and they will give you, I don't want to get lost in this. You can do your research, right? I will tell you. I'm going to show you, not get lost in these details. I know the Shia reason, but right now I'm not, like a long time ago I read it. It's since I was a Shia. So they have their reasons. You can go to alislam.org also, a Shia site. Mu'mineen, wives of Prophet Muhammad, alislam.org. Aisha committing adultery. Or, she in Surah Tahrim, forget the adultery slander thing. Surah Tahrim, she falters, annoying. And then from the hadiths, we find out, even the Sunni hadiths, that Umar says it was these two wives, my daughter Hafsa and Aisha. And Umar gave his daughter Hafsa a warning on this and reprimanded her. Right? So, you see, all these reasonings taking from both sides. So now, from the hadiths, the Shias are saying that Aisha has fallen short. I made you Ummul Mu'mineen, but you don't want to be thoroughly purified. Allah tells them. So the responsibility the Shias put is on these Ummul Mu'mineens who are wives of the Prophet. And so they fell short of becoming Ummul Mu'mineen, although God had made them Ummul Mu'mineen, given them this title and what it contains to be the mother of the faithful believers. Now the Shia way also falters, lapses in my reasoning power. I cannot get it. Since Allah made them, and since you compare Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali, right? So you compare why this from on my Facebook I've given. So you compare this, right? On one hand, we say, although it is not in the Quran, that the cousin of the Messenger of Allah is Amir al-Mu'mineen. They take it from the hadiths. Imams say whatever we say, our sayings go against the Quran, ayats, reject them. Even if our names are written on those hadiths, narrations, that it is from us. We've said it. So whatever we've said, if it may not be from us, because if it goes against, interpolations, people writing the wrong things, trying to malign the Prophet and his progeny, very, very badly, like after their lives and all this. So here, Wikishia.net, right, says about Amir al-Mu'mineen, Shias maintain that it is not permissible to use this title for Rashidun caliphs and others. What is more, they even hold that it is not permissible to use the title for other 12 imams, alayhi salam, in bracket A, either. Not even the other 12 imams. So what is Amir al-Mu'mineen? When the hadith of Rasulullah, one hadith, and the hadiths have come to tell us, Gnostic hadiths also, what the Prophet is trying to say. It does not, this verse about who is Amir al-Mu'mineen in the Quran, where is the verse? The word Amir al-Mu'mineen literally means the ruler, governor, or leader of Muslim believers. Citation. There, Al-Marif Tashai, volume 2, page 522. Dairat, like that, right? So, no historical background. All hadiths, do you see? From the Shias, from the historical background, Shiites, from the Sunni sources or Shia sources, appealing to hadith cited in Shiite and Sunni sources. For example, Ibn Asakir is quoted Abu Buraida al-Aslami as saying that the Prophet ordered that we greet Ali bin Abu Talib as Amir al-Mu'mineen. In another hadith, Abu Buraida is also quoted as saying that Abu Bakr came to the Prophet. The Prophet told him, go and greet Amir al-Mu'mineen. Abu Bakr said, even now that you are still alive. The Prophet said, yes. Then Umar bin al-Khattab came and the Prophet said the same to him. So it's, who is this Amir al-Mu'mineen? However, Sunni Muslims, Imam Ali. However, who is Prophet Muhammad referring to? To Abu Bakr and Umar to go and greet him. Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali. So the Shias have seeped through and found this out. And there's a direct hadith. It's not a Quran ayat. So all this explained from Sunni Shia hadiths, bringing them in one, like all through, looking at it, like Abu Bakr calls Ali a qatil one in the Sunni sources, but the Shias have their reasons for saying no. We had our reasons saying no. This hadith, Abu Bakr was an like enemy, you know. So if you call Ali a qatil, then you'll call Rasulullah qatil too. So what Abu Bakr did later on, it fell from reasoning, looking at that hadith where Abu Bakr calls Ali a killer, a murderer, qatil. Look at that qatil coming. Right, something like this, you can just search for it, but I'm going now I have to brush through this, right, for Shiites and Sunnis. In accordance with its literal meaning, Sunni Muslims have used the word Amir al-Mu'mineen for all Rashidun, Umayyad and Abbasid caliphs. According to Shiite hadiths, however, Amir al-Mu'mineen, noteworthy, not Quran ayats, hadith. If they bring the Quran ayat, then the wives of the Prophet who made all these mistakes and lapsed from, what is Amir, what is Ummul Mu'mineen. So Shias will tell you for this Ali's thing, what is Amir al-Mu'mineen. You cannot fail when you are the commander of the faithful. And when you are under the commander of the faithful, if you say you are the Shia of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali, meaning you cannot falter, do wrong things. If you make a mistake, quickly repent. Okay, now my accent going bonkers, wayward, haywire. So you see this. I'm saying to the Shiites now, if people knew when Ali was Prophet Muhammad, okay, I skipped some for Shiites and Sunnis. So now, but Amir al-Mu'mineen is considered as a privilege, specific title of Imam Ali alayhi salam. I'm losing my energy, but not pausing here. See, now we have Prophet Muhammad saying what he quote, hadith, they find, right? If people, the Prophet is quoted as saying that if people knew when Ali was given this title, they would not deny his virtues. What a weighty title this is, right? So according to the Shias, I failed them. Back to them, 12 Shias. However, Ismailiya Shiites use the title for Fatima caliphs, and Zaydiya Shiites use it for any Alawi Imam who established his imamat on the basis of war. Now the Alawi is saying, yeah, commander of the faithful. You see, very good. Very. So I tell, not beating Baba. Forget winning, beating this, that. Please look at this. Yani, I using Shia to beat the Shias. Shia hadith, wherever they're coming from, wherever they bring from, the Sunni hadith sources, historic facts, this, that. If you say Amir al-Mu'mineen, the commander of the faithful, and you take that, and what did Rasulullah say, the hadiths you take, why. So I complete the saying of Holy Prophet now, because I read further here down. Sorry, I cannot show you. So hope I don't confuse you. Prophet is quoted as saying that if people knew when Ali was given this title, they would not deny his virtues. When? No. So when was he given this title? He was given the title when Adam alayhi salam in Barakat A was between the soul and the body. When God said, am I not your Lord? This part, am I not your Lord, in the Quran ayat. From Quran ayat. When God said, am I not your Lord? And people said, yes, Bala. Right? This part, Quran ayat. Only this part. But Rasulullah explaining, where does Amir al-Mu'mineen title come from? For Ali. And so giving a verse from the Quran part, yeah? And the people now out of the verse, only saying from Prophet Muhammad coming. And the people said, yes, no, he said, now Prophet Muhammad explaining further. He said, no says of Shia. He said, and Amir al-Mu'mineen. He said, I am your Lord. Muhammad is your prophet. And Ali is your Amir. This Gnostic secret knowledge, Prophet Muhammad conveying to his believers, not even secret like this. What I mean is this high knowledge. about Ali, Prophet Muhammad conveying, and what is the citation for this quote? Specific title, not for this, but here, no, I can no citation for this Prophet's quote, but previously, going up, according to Shia Hadith and others, Imam Ali, specific title of Imam Ali, and here they give a citation. It is Mufid al-Irshad, volume 1, page 48, Ibn Uqda al-Kufi, Fadal Amir al-Mu'mineen, page 13, and Asakir Tarikh Madinat Dimashq, volume 42, page 303, 386. Abu Nu'aym Hilyat al-Awliya wa Tabaqat al-Asfiya, volume 1, page 63. So now I'm telling Shias that you see, you going into hadiths about Amir al-Mu'mineen and you believing, okay, good. But, and different Shias sects have different things, giving hadiths, right? That they don't, only 12 Shia saying that Amir al-Mu'mineen, only Ali, Imam Ali, first Imam. But Ismaili is giving Amir al-Mu'mineen to other Imams too, this part of Shia Islam. Alawites, part of Shia Islam, giving to other Imams, Fatimid and all that. Other. I hope you get it because I'm a little short on this, how to explain it, sorry. I fall short on explaining it properly. Thank God it English come. Okay? And so now, tell me Shias, because you know where I have to show you your lapse in this. Because when God himself giving the title in Surah Ahzab, why doing this? And not purifying them with the thorough purification. Although the Quran verse says that at the 12 verse Shias say no. This verse not for the... And then the wives fail, some of them. In Surah Tahrim, they annoyed, we are told. Now you tell me. So, embrace yourself, because I'm feeling I'm right about this. And you're wrong. And why God saying... Because many points I think, not adopted son, not your blood son. Adopted son is not your blood son. Hence, thus, you cannot treat him. You can treat him as your close associate friend. Surah Ahzab ayat. Explaining. But God all of a sudden decided, you see the wives of the Prophet, they even lapse in the behavior. al-Mu'mineen title given. And you know what the 12 Shia say about this? What title? If Amir al-Mu'mineen title given, so weighty, so grave, so serious, that you cannot falter in this and start to make go against Prophet Muhammad, annoying him. So much so that he have to please you and say, okay, Allah, I will, what Allah allow him, not obligatory, but I will never do this again. Taking oath, pleasing his wives who annoyed him, annoying wives, troubling him. And you know, if God giving them, how it falter, how they falter. So how God also falter by giving them the title of al Mu'mineen, the mother of the faithful believers. See, Surah Ahzab, mother of the faithful believers. If these people give me this, see, I am going to, if the articles and where, Surah Ahzab, I go straight to the Surah Quran verses. Surah Ahzab. O Prophet, tell your wives, yeah, and giving, but if you seek Allah and His Messenger and the abode of the hereafter, then Allah also pointing a warning to them, then surely Allah has prepared a great reward. Yeah, Allah not knowing what Mu'mineen are? Please, if one wife coming up and the other not, they losing this title, they're going to hell. Wives of the Prophet, if any of you commit flagrant indecency, her chastisement shall be doubled. That is easy for Allah. Verse 30 of Surah Ahzab. Sorry if I did not the previous Quran ayat I read, I not give the number. But whoever of you is obedient to Allah. So, yes, I can see the punishments, warnings given. Wives of the Prophet, you are not like other women. Verse 32 coming. You are not like other women. Okay, after warning them, Allah tells them, wives of, don't you think the Prophet should be very careful who he marries, that he sees Mu'mineen? Wives of the Prophet, you are not like other women. If you fear Allah, do not be too complacent in your speech, lest those with diseased hearts should covet you, but speak in a straightforward manner. Verse 32. Which verse Allah say, I make you, I give you this title? Maybe, see, they're not giving me, I have to pause. Hello, greetings. Yeah, back here. Sorry. So, not yeah, okay, greetings again. I paused here. You didn't know. I find the verse. I found it. Surah Ahzab, verse 6. The Prophet has a stronger affinity to the believers than they do themselves. And his wives are their mothers. But the blood relationship, because he prophet. So forget, but if he make said, his son, even though adopted, God say, no, he not your, you made an unintentional mistake. So, you see, it doesn't fall to reason. And here then, because he prophet, what he's addressed as a Nabi, prophet, we are told, right? Or addressed or mentioned. The prophet. So we are told that this prophet, whatever this prophethood contained, this last prophet, seal of prophet, so we are told he has a stronger affinity to the believers than they do themselves. And his wives are their mothers. You see, it doesn't fall to reason, God's reasoning. First, what we do before even understanding the wisdom of God in these ayats, we have to understand from A, B, C, D. The reasoning fails here. Because what the reasoning God give in verse 30, in these verses about, yeah. So another thing, so much bombardment coming and contradictions. I tell you, from reason, not wisdom, then we apply wisdom of God and Allah, we say yes. When Allah's reason is given and it falls great with reason, right? Al-Kafi also, I mention, oh God, that the reason Allah say come, it obey. When you have your proper reason falling into logical perspective and conclusion, true conclusion coming, what is settling in you? You automatically obey reason if you're not insane and lose your mind. No? Sorry about those who are. I also have gone insane, but sorry, those who. Uh, so I don't mean to put you down, or you feel that, we've lost our minds. So reason, but God's in some way will. God don't forgive you. God act lovingly with you. So you don't have to apply your reason anymore. If you cannot, when you have lost your reasoning power and gone insane, challenging mental challenges you face. Okay, so sorry, I don't mean to bring you down or insult you or in a condescending manner say anything. But so don't despair of God's mercy. Quran ayat. So, but here for normal people, we come here. God, suppose now a prophet is inviting us and reading out these verses. So we say to the prophet that has come on his heart by a trusted spirit, the message of Allah. The Prophet has a stronger affinity to the believers than they do themselves, and his wives are their mothers. As ordained by Allah, blood relatives are more entitled to inheritance in quotation marks. Now, see, I get confused. Than other in quotation marks believers and immigrants, unless you want to show kindness to your close associates through bequest. This about inheritance. Oh God. So blood relatives, I get more confused, but I try to bring myself to destroy this confusion. How I destroy this confusion by these verses put here to confuse me is that I go slowly. What did it say here? Inheritance, the decree of Allah, then the believers. So we take, and the immigrants, and except that you do, okay, you do to your friends, all you, a kindness that is in the book written. This is decreed in the record. And remember when we took a covenant from the prophets as well as from you, O Prophet, and from Nuh, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, son of Mary, we did take a solemn covenant from all of them. So that he may so reading these ayats, 7th ayat of Surah Ahzab read, now 8th, so that he may question these men of truth about the delivery of the truth. And he has prepared a painful punishment for the disbelievers. O believers, 9 verse now. Sometimes I don't say the verse number, sorry. O believers, remember Allah's favor upon you when the enemy forces came, okay, to besiege you in Medina. So, wait, taking back to this ayat 6 of Surah Ahzab, the Prophet as a prophet, he has a closer affinity to the believers than they do themselves. And his wives are their mothers. So for the life of me, I cannot understand. And when Allah has also said this before inheritance or anything entitled, as ordained by Allah, blood relatives are more entitled. So what is Shia saying? That God know that this son is not adopted son, Zahra. So what happened? Where you falter to reason what I say. Okay? And the blood relative, so he keep more entitled to inheritance. As ordained by Allah, blood relatives are more entitled. And what he do to the so wives are the mothers. Yes, you can take Zaid, he can take Zaid as his son, adopted. We going up and down in. O Prophet, always be mindful, follow what is revealed to you. Put your trust in Allah. Allah does not place two hearts in a person's chest, nor does he regard your wives as unlawful for you like your real mothers, even if you say they are. Nor does he regard your adopted children as your real children. These are only your baseless assertions. But Allah declares the truth, and He alone guides to the right way. So they are, yes, because Allah gives that they are not your real children. But this is the Prophet who have closer affinity, Nabi, remember. It is put Prophet there. Because as a Prophet he has a stronger affinity, although don't call him father. He's not the father of any of your men. But as a Prophet he has stronger affinity near to you. And through him you can see the Gnostic, what he said, that Ali is Amir al-Mu'mineen. This what happened before. You have what the matter with you, you don't remember that the goddess say. And I appeal to, of course, who I appeal to? I appeal to Prophet Muhammad, who is closer through this verse. I say for the sake of Allah, also appeal to Allah, for the sake of this verse, that the Prophet have closer affinity to us believers. Make me a believer and then let me know about this gnosis. That Ali the only Amir al-Mu'mineen. Okay? So you see what the Shias do. I need a stronger glass here. Just a minute. So you see what the Prophet do. He give me that knowledge about Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali, his cousin and son-in-law of that time. That the verse say, Quran verse, God, what he say? Am I not close? Am I not your Lord? And we say yes, in that state, in the soul state, prenatal state, before anyone born. All souls. Yeah? So now, you see, I understand all that. And you understand, I understand Shia Islam. Right? But not anymore. The reason here, Amir al-Mu'mineen, al-Mu'mineen, I going slowly. And then seeing if what come to me in my previous audio I share, true or not. Now going step by step in detail, taking verses, showing you again. Let your adopted children keep their family names. That is more just in the sight of Allah. But if you do not know their fathers, then they are simply your fellow believers and close associates, not your children anymore. Now there can be a debate that you can have adopted sons and daughters. But God already say here that, what he say? Then they are your brothers. Wait. Then call them by the fathers. It is more just near Allah. But if not, you know their fathers, then they are your brothers in the religion. What? Let your adopted children, God's still calling them adopted children, keep their family names. Then twist turn the truth like that, she has not to see. And they give me hard time then. I going searching hadiths, this, that. It a fall for a reason, and she is not seeing it, and I feel like I'm talking to myself because I have an impediment. She is very good at explaining and eloquence of Imam Ali from Imam Ali blessed. See, let your first God putting here and call them. I don't know how she are going. And he only say call. Call them. Call whom? Let your adopted children keep their family names. Not like this, like, who put this here? Translation not coming. Let your adopted children, not coming like this, word by word. Call them by their fathers. It is more just near Allah. But if not, you know their fathers, you know their fathers, then they are your brothers. You understand? He not is saying like this translation. Let your adopted children let your adopted children, quotation, adopted children. No, he's saying let them keep their family names. That is more just in the sight of Allah. But if you do not know their fathers, like he put here, their fathers, not your adopted children's fathers, then they are simply your fellow believers and close associates. There is no blame on you for what you do by mistake. What you do by mistake? What Prophet Muhammad did, commentary. So, you understand, you can now read the Shia commentary or Sunni commentary. Prophet Muhammad made the mistake of making Zayd his adopted son. You see, all Shia reasoning, Quran reasoning also fall apart, not logical. Here, I will show you again and again. There is no blame on you for what you do by mistake. Now what Shia saying that Prophet Muhammad cannot make a mistake. We telling them he made a mistake. Quran ayat saying he made a mistake. The whole Quran ayat's on this. Still, Prophet Muhammad, infallible, cannot make a mistake. If he make a mistake, what happened? God have to correct him. But like God corrected Hazrat Musa. But you're saying he's above Hazrat Musa in position now, exalted, more above. But Quran ayat is saying he made a mistake. I don't know how Shias explained this. They also know that this Quran ayat saying he made a mistake is still they very, I don't understand at all. They are sticking on that he infallible and he God conscious so much that the two believers he is. So any hadith you give me, he infallible. Prophet, this prophet, yani the prophet has a stronger affinity to the believers than they do themselves. Okay? Like that. For example, I'm giving you examples so that you understand later on what I'm talking about. What am I talking about? It is so difficult. I like to show you that Quran reason also fail. And what the Shia say also fail. About adopted sons, Allah, blood, Prophet Muhammad being infallible, not making any mistakes ever, just doing what Allah tell him to do. Surah Najm ayat, speaking what Allah make him speak. And another Quran ayat that he know this. This whole thing coming on him, he know it. He know he prophet, he know everything in the Quran ayat. He have full knowledge of Allah and what Allah conveyed to him in his heart by a trusted spirit. Then how he making a mistake here like this? Then how in Surah Tahrim and wives and first you okay leave. How he make a mistake like this here? Adopt a son, practicing that nonsensical, and God even correcting him and saying you made an unintentional mistake. Okay, let's not even deny that he made an unintentional mistake like God is mentioning in the Quran ayat. But should he have made an unintentional mistake? When you say he's infallible, he's most exalted, Surah Jinn ayat, we sent angels here, there, around, that he, messenger, that he convey the message properly and live by it, right? Like that. Not to falter. If he make a mistake like this, unintentional, but how can he make an unintentional mistake now? When you know about the Quran ayats, what they say about this prophet. And then you see these ayats saying you made an unintentional mistake. How can a prophet born knowing fully, being fully conscious of God's message in him, total wisdom, this, that, to what, when he telling about Amir al-Mu'mineen, where he going? To that state where all Adam was in the soul state condition. How he make a mistake here? Unintentional even. Shias, tell me. And so the blood thing, it is like, no, and they're not, okay, not adopted. Here, let your adopted children keep their family names. What translation you giving me of this Quran ayat? Word by word? Listen.
ادعوهم لآبائهم.
Sorry, very loud. I try to.
هو أقسط.
See?
ادعوهم.
Call them. Not like this translation. Let your adopted children. No. Let call
ادعوهم.
them. Nor does he regard your adopted children as your real children. Okay. Previous ayat I'm yet. But in between. So 4. Then we going here to verse 30. What I trying to find, and remember we took a covenant, then it changing as prophet as a stronger, and the mothers now become the wife. Excuse me, the wives are their mothers, believers. You want to know mothers?
بالمؤمنين وأزواجه
And his wives.
أمهاتهم
Ummahatuhum. Ummah,
أمهاتهم
mothers.
وأولو
And possessors
الأرحام
of relationships. What?
بعضهم
Some of them. If you tell me,
أولى
are closer.
ببعض
Did I get to another? Okay, I start.
وأزواجه
Wait, maybe from
النبي
the prophet
أولى
is closer
بالمؤمنين
to the believers
من
than
أنفسهم
their own selves.
وأزواجه
And his wives
أمهاتهم
are their mothers
وأولو
and possessors
الأرحام
of relationships. Shias,
بعضهم
some of them, after,
أولى
are closer. Badum are closer
ببعض
to one another
كتاب
in
كتاب
the decree. God.
بعضه
Of,
الله.
okay, I think I need a break here. So I'm showing you the reasoning of the Quran ayats, making the Ummul Mumineen mothers, wives of the Prophet mothers, and stripping off why adopted sons, when Prophet Muhammad himself took Zaid as his adopted son according to the pagan Arab custom. Reason, it's not coming to reason. Why you know, but that is Shia blood. Very, very stubborn. What do you call the blood? Shia blood in me. Unreasonable. Going into, it does not stand to reason, like Charles Dickens would say, for Imam Hussein. What did he? It stands to reason then that something about Imam Hussein, his quote coming. But here it does not. So I copying Charles Dickens. It does not stand to reason. These Quran ayahs. Why God making wives of Prophet are believers, mothers. And when these wives also, or not all of them doing what they are, such a weighty thing they are given. This means they're going in the bottomless pit of abyss, hell. And what this Quran ayat saying? Baba, me in. So, I going to Surah Kausar. Like, just let me end this, then I'll continue with this later on in another audio. Surah Kausar saying, in the end, right, that when we were told that, so I'm going now to a complete different, showing you, but okay, not complete different, but Quran reasoning failing, Allah reasoning failing with me. No Shia can, you can keep going on about it, like between Sunni and Shia, for ages this fight, conflict. And now between Murtad and the Shia, a fight going on, forever, conflict. You want me to stick to your religion, Shia Islam, I think. You see, you don't see. This is the problem. And the Prophet Muhammad is scare you, giving you Gnostic knowledge, like he know what God, like he, authority sent down to you. Now, you see, Surah Qasr ayat. Surely we have given the Qasr, meaning the people there were what? Insulting this, that you don't have any issue. Issue meaning not problem, but child, to take your prophethood and bring us the Messiah or the last Qaim. God taka giving them, saying, taka yani immediate, Qasr coming, Surah Qasr. What it related to? The surviving daughter? One, Fatima, Shia saying. This Qasr personified, metaphorically, Fatima Zahra. Yeah? Issue, child, surviving daughter of Prophet Muhammad, taking his progeny from there. His daughter, not his son, but a son-in-law cousin, Ali. Okay? But not his son, not even adopted son. His race, it must come from Ishmael. And who from Ishmael? Prophet Muhammad, we say, right? So his race not disconnecting, because his surviving daughter Fatima bringing the race out, continuing his race. And from according to Arab customs and all, and even the Jews, leave the Christians alone. Where the Messiah coming from? So from the Christians, if we take Islam, what we say? Muslim, Quran. That Isa al-Masih's race broken here. This means Isaac's race finished on the Messiah. He coming back, God lifted him up. Even if he crucified, let's say, the Quran, not to say this, but let's say even his whole body going up. Imam Ali saving him. So now you tell me, so Messiah, Isaac's race khatam shud from Isa al-Masih. He not even getting married and having a son to pass on Isaac's race. But Prophet Muhammad say, I from Ishmael. And where Hussein from? Ishmael. And who the lamb of sacrifice? Hussein. And Jews looking and saying that even Jesus Christ, not the David seed, what you call, from David's seed or not, from his mother's side, this side, we getting confused, reading Bible verses. Anyways, gospel, and okay, we're going back to now Muhammad. So, he not having a son. So Muhammad said, okay, Jesus Christ's mother, this is what God now want to continue from the woman. My daughter. Okay, so Jews have to wait and see. Okay, even the Shias wait and see. But another point, what a true point giving, that the progeny coming from Fatima Zahra, although Ali a cousin. Now where we go from here? We go to Qasr, Surah Qasr. And what happened in the end, God did tell us in the surah verse? Surely we have given you Qasr, so pray to thy Lord and offer sacrifice. Surely it is your enemy who is without issue, meaning cut off, meaning no children coming. You insult, you say you're not a true prophet. You even put a blame on Prophet Muhammad, saying, where your progeny coming from? You have a daughter, you don't have a son. I telling you, I see the truth behind all this, that Muhammad going on a killing spree, not the journey. In the last video, I say some video I say about this. I say killing journey. He going on a killing spree, killing the issues of the Jews and the pagan idol worshippers. He marrying their wives, their widows, or Abu Sufyan's daughter also he married, Habiba, right? Did Abu Sufyan, Abu Sufyan not trick him. We say, okay, Abu Bakr, Shia say Abu Bakr and Umar trick him or corner him to marrying their daughters. But what Abu Sufyan do? Because the hadith comes that Habiba herself leave other religions and embrace Islam. And then Prophet Muhammad marry the daughter of Abu Sufyan, the pagan idol worshippers. According to Shia Islam, never ever embraced Islam. Sincere embracer. He was a hypocrite. What Muawiyah doing with Imam Ali and Imam Ali? What does Shia say? Fighting, fighting, fighting. Okay, coming back to now Habiba being the wife of Prophet Muhammad, Ummul Mu'mineen, maybe not elapsing, but what, forever and ever they are even at this time, mother of the believers, whenever, which era believers born to be believers, who are they? Taking Shia, continuous. If the same ayat says in the beginning that Prophet Muhammad, even if Prophet Muhammad die, what is he to these believers? What is he? Closer than their own selves. Prophet Muhammad cannot die, not in body. I mean, in body, yes, but not in that nearness. A prophet being so near to you than your own selves, meaning, you know what meaning? Also, another meaning, but what this? That any believer born any time after his death, still this Quran ayat applied, and it is continuously true for the believers born today also, and it's our believers in deeds and all this, in actions, in heart, in mind, right? Continuous. Same goes for those. Same ayat. After mentioning this, he says, mother of the believers, what? Wives of the Prophet. And possessors, which is Shia's translation perhaps. I don't know what is going on. But I take mother of the believers now. I look at the other possessors of relationships. Right. Anyways, just take for being simplicity, what we all know, mother of the believers. So, wives of the Prophet. What? Continuous. Today, believer born. Meaning, I say Hazrat Aisha. I say Hazrat Habiba. Hazir Nazir. Yani, they are my mothers. What is Sunni saying? That all wives, mothers of us. Prophet Muhammad's wives. And after his death, you cannot marry. Those true ones like Salma, Shia's take. She was alive in Karbala time. Battle of Karbala, but she was in Medina with one of Imam. She lived in Medina with Hazrat Abbas's mother was there too. Yeah, Imam Ali's son, Imam Ali's wife, Umm al Banin. Yeah, Salma there, Prophet Muhammad's wife. She survived. What is she? She, the mother of the believers. And you think any believer can marry? No. So, and why Prophet Muhammad not divorce Aisha and Hafsa? Because they did not come up to the status of being a believer's mother. This Quran ayat, believer's mother, wives of the Prophet are mothers of the believers, faithful believers. This stands true, should it not, for all time, like Prophet is closer to the believers than their own selves? Come on, according to this ayat, you cannot now turn it, say thoroughly purify you, household of the Prophet Muhammad, household. You cannot now turn this ayat. Don't trick me, Shias. You see how you don't deviate. How you deviate and how you put a great many people in wrong. Because Prophet Muhammad, you don't see Prophet Muhammad going on a killing spree. Allah say that all your enemies' issues will be cut off. And how you hear, you cannot tell me, or any Sunni for that matter, because Quran ayat here, that here it turned into the daughter, also possessor of our, as a mother, we should take Fatima Zahra as the mother of the believers. You cannot do this. You cannot put, because here it clearly says in the Surah Ahzab, and you defending a prophet and bringing salwat on him like he wants you to, on the what you call Yazid, killer of truth. Wait, what you call Ibn Muljam, killer of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Yeah? Ali. Yeah? What you call him? Ibn Muljam. Still we give, every Ramadan we give curses on Lan Allah qatalat al-Amir al-Mu'mineen. Lan Allah qatalat al-Amir, the one who killed Amir al-Mu'mineen. How many times the rosary and tasbih? Continuous curse on this Ibn Muljam, the killer of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali. What this here continues? al-Mu'mineen. How you deviate this verse? You cannot. You cannot fool me. I give you that other, also explain this verse and tell you from Surah Qasr, what verse say? Allah cut off their issues, your enemies' issues. Do you think Prophet Muhammad, if in Surah Fat, allegiance to his hand, Allah's hand, you give allegiance, it's like giving allegiance to Allah's hand, Prophet Muhammad's hand. And Allah strike, not you people strike. What Muhammad is capable of doing. Surah Qasr ayat. He's saying Allah wants your issues to be discontinued. What he could have done, what I see. what I said in the previous video, killing Jews, killing idol worshippers in Makkah, killing Jews in Medina, cutting off their line of genealogy and the coming children. So you wrong here. In reason also you wrong. I telling you, then when we go to the wisdom of God, but the Quran ayats fail in reason. According to Sunni and Shia both now. Both falter. And the ayat, Allah also. Now where are you going? And I tell you, Prophet Muhammad going on a killing spree. And if you come with ayats like thoroughly purify you and you give your best perfect Arabic, you fail here. Reason. So now my mind is tired, I have a mental tiredness, exhaustion. I will, again you want me to in detail show you how you fail in, Allah also fail in reasoning. And then how you defend and protect the Prophet and his progeny. Because he's turned out to be a killer. Mass murderer, slaughter, slay them. And if you feel that he cannot take Surah Kausar ayat, although very soft, like Allah tells Prophet Muhammad, your enemy without issue. And when he turned out to be a murderer, don't tell me you don't take this ayat to see whether he killed issues of the enemies or not, saying Allah cut off your issues. This means that if their children die, you say, yeah, God sent the wrath on you become like impotent. You don't even have a child. And maybe Prophet Muhammad killed the child of every true person there, Makkah, idol worshipper and Jew. But he say, here sent, I show you how it come in a deceptive betrayal and how we worship God through them, thinking they are the true when they have killed their children, cut off their issues, tried to cut off their line of progeny and all this. And then we put the blame on Yazid and Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad and Walid and this and that and Abu Sufyan and Abu Bakr and Umar and Muawiyah and the Jews, Huway, Bani Qurayza, Banu Nadir. So I show you how reason fail, Allah's lapse in these ayahs. In reason, ABCD. Start from ABCD to learn. Alif Ba, right? Reason fail. Now what wisdom you going to defend the Prophet? Thank you, I continuing later.